How is everyone doing? I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Welcome to another Chelsea News Daily video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Eden Hazard and his potential replacements in Philippe Coutinho and Insigne of Napoli. You guys, if you do like today's video, smash that like button. Help me get more than 500 likes for today's video. And don't forget to press the bell notification button as well to stay tuned to all things Blue Lines TV. But wasting no time, getting straight into things, starting with the current news on Eden Hazard. Now, reports have come out over the past 2 days stating that Hazard wants to leave and sign for Real Madrid. Now, if you guys remember that video I did release 2 months ago titled The End, where I was disclosing information such as Hudson-Odoi and his camp falling out with Marina, and Eden Hazard notifying the squad and letting people know that he does want to leave the club. Now, this RMC Sport interview that has sparked all of this Eden Hazard talk was disclosed 2 months ago, and that was around the same time that video was released. And just a little fun fact for you, RMC Sport actually got in contact with me a few months ago where I did record for the Eden Hazard documentary. Unfortunately, I wasn't part of the cut, but to be honest, it was a cool experience. The only new thing currently is the fact that we are now looking at replacements for Eden Hazard. And 2 replacements that are being monitored are Insigne and Philippe Coutinho. But there are a few interesting details in the latest reports. One interesting detail is the fact that it seems like Hazard has given Real Madrid confidence in regards to sealing this deal. It seems like all the twerking Hazard's been doing is finally starting to pay off. And the other interesting thing was the fact that we value Hazard at over 100 million, which sounds about right in my opinion. But still, as I was talking about earlier, the quotes that came out from Eden came out 2 months ago when he was recording for the RMC Sport documentary. And some of you guys might be thinking, but Nini, if he said this 2 months ago, maybe over the past 2 months his opinion has changed again. But I'm not too confident about that in my opinion. And the reason why I'm saying that is due to the fact that if anything positive was happening behind the scenes, we would have seen some reports suggesting that Hazard is entertaining contract talks with us. But that hasn't been the case. And I haven't heard anything new in regards to Hazard and anything to do with the contracts. Still though, it's interesting in regards to Callum Hudson-Odoi, and it does tell you that maybe there's a deeper meaning behind Chelsea persuading him to stay until at least the summer. And who knows, if Hudson-Odoi gets the confidence that yes, that position is going to be up for grabs when Hazard does leave, that could potentially persuade him to stay with the club and not to sign for Bayern Munich. But anyway though, it's looking clearer and clearer that Eden Hazard wants to leave, and this could potentially be his final season with us. But does that necessarily mean that he's going to go? Well, there could be a few factors in place that might have a possibility to stop this from happening, and for this part, I'm going to discuss what I think they are. Now for me, it's quite obvious that the only way to keep Hazard is if Real Madrid don't want to sign him. And what might be the reasons as to why Real Madrid don't sign Eden Hazard? Well, number one, Marina could do a De Laurentiis and really long out the deal. Maybe that could potentially, put off Real Madrid from signing Hazard because they don't want to keep entertaining talks for the player, and they could move on to other targets. Now let's be serious, best believe that Marina is going to play every single tricking card she can. But of course the risk is you're going to aggravate Eden Hazard if the deal doesn't go through. Do you really want to have an unhappy Eden Hazard at the club? I don't think so, and sometimes I feel like if a player wants to go, you have to let them leave. Sarri's already spoken about this, saying that of course he would like Hazard to stay, but if the player's heart wasn't in playing for Chelsea anymore, he should be allowed to leave. Now, this could be a smart ploy by Sarri, and Sarri could play on the fact that Hazard try and leave a Chelsea legend, leave with your final last hurrah. Sarri might be trying to motivate Eden Hazard to be the very best he can be before he leaves. But still though, even though I've made those 2 points, I don't necessarily feel like they're big enough reasons to really dissuade Real Madrid from signing Hazard. But there could be one stumbling block, and his name is Vinicius Jnr. And currently, he's playing a lot more for Real Madrid. He's playing so much in the fact that he started against Barcelona in the El Clasico tonight. And obviously, if you're signing Eden Hazard, you're signing him for the left-hand side to replace Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, of course, there could be a possibility that Madrid are thinking to use him as a number 10. But in my opinion, if you're signing Hazard, you can't sign him to play him out of position. He can only play down that left-hand side. But of course, that's where Vinicius is currently playing for Real Madrid, and if Hazard does arrive, that's only going to affect his development. And could it really be the wisest thing to affect his development now? Well, for me, it could have severe consequences in the future. Look at Vinny right now. The guy is a ready-made global superstar, a teenager who's Brazilian, playing down the left, replacing Cristiano Ronaldo and playing for Real Madrid. The guy is literally marketing gold. This guy is going to be the next Neymar if his current development continues. And Vinny could be the perfect player to lead Real Madrid to greater heights post Cristiano Ronaldo leaving. Think of all of the money Real Madrid could make if Vinicius does become a global superstar. And realistically, for him to reach those heights quicker, he has to keep playing, and most importantly, he has to keep playing down that left-hand side. And I think it does pose an interesting dilemma. If Vinny does keep playing until the end of the season and he really grows and develops, Madrid will have to be forced to consider whether signing Hazard is going to be the best thing. Of course, if you sign him now, in the short term, it's going to be great because he is going to be an upgrade to this team. But in the long term, you're potentially missing out on future riches if you affect his development right now. And can a club like Real Madrid that created Galactico culture really potentially turn down something potentially profitable like this? I'm not too sure. Now, I do want to move on to another hypothetical situation. Imagine Hazard is leaving and it's only coming down to a greener price. Now, Chelsea are asking for more than 100 million, but we do have to respect that he will be on his last 12 months of his current deal, and there's only so much money we can ask for before you start to upset the player. And Chelsea definitely don't need another Courtois situation where you have an ex-player bad-mouthing the club. It's not good for PR. Now for me, what Real Madrid could do to really sweeten things is to offer us money as well as Isco and Kovacic. I think Kovacic was already a bit of a sweetener for this potential deal, but now with Kovacic starting to play in a much more deeper role, I think he then becomes a lot more ideal for this team. Number one, he understands the system, so that's only going to help us. Two, he looks like great backup and competition for Jorginho. And of course, it would be very easy to negotiate with the player. And when it comes to Isco, again, it's another season where he can't cement himself as the number one starter. It's about time he leaves. Reports keep constantly coming out saying that the player isn't happy. And there's one key position in this team that we need strengthening, and that's the number 8 position. Now for me, if Isco's coming as well, he also provides that versatility in his play. He can play down the left as well, but he's better suited playing in the middle, and I think playing as a number 8 is ideal for him. I mean, number one, the guy gets goals and assists, and that's something we definitely need, and that's something the system really needs from our number 8 player. And for me, I would prefer a deal like this if it really comes down to the fact that Hazard wants to go. I feel like if we got these two players in the deal, I think it's not impossible because Isco's market clout is going down. He's not playing as much, he's not happy. Madrid know that they can't command crazy amounts of money for the player. Maybe 50 million and Isco and cover. I think that's a decent deal. I feel like this because that way we're guaranteed to get two great players as part of this deal, because sometimes I doubt, if we did sell Hazard and we did get the money for him, do we really have the type of board that's going to secure us a top quality replacement? I'm not too sure. I mean, of course, I would like to see Hudson-Odoi given that position so he can grow, but we have to understand that we're Chelsea and we don't really agree to plans like this. We don't really do the most logical things. And in a way, it is safe to assume that we most likely would reinvest that money into a big name player. Now, that might not necessarily mean that we're going to look for a left wing replacement, but we could use that money to sign a guaranteed world-class player in a different position. Now, moving on to the final segment for today's video, that's in regards to our transfer links to Insigne and Philippe Coutinho. Now, when I said at the start of this video that reports are saying we're finally looking at Eden Hazard replacements, these two players were mentioned. Starting with Coutinho, this is reported by The Independent, and they're stating that we're monitoring the player to see him as a potential replacement for Eden Hazard. The report states that Coutinho's already played in the Premier League, he understands the league. If you're signing him on the basis that he doesn't need any time to readjust, he could get back straight into the flow of things. Now, the Barcelona president Bartomeu came out to state that Coutinho is going nowhere, and the club are hedging all their bets on the player. But Coutinho did state something conflicting in a separate interview. And when he was questioned about his Barcelona future, he stated that anything could happen in the future, but currently, all he's focusing on is keeping his head down and focusing on his football. Now, would Coutinho be the right replacement for Eden Hazard? He would be, but I wouldn't see him as the player to replace him down that left-hand side. I would see him as that bona fide star to play in the number 8 position. Now, Coutinho is much better in the middle than out wide, and I think that's why he's currently struggling at Barcelona. Now, his instinct are always to cut inside, to play in the half space, and to operate more centrally, and I think that it's obviously understandable why he's currently struggling. Now, Coutinho is like an Eden Hazard of himself in the sense that he kind of plays his own game. He's quite a unique player. I mean, he's got a very good long shot, his close control, his playmaking abilities, his set piece duties as well. When it comes to goal output, I think that Coutinho and Hazard are quite similar, but I think the most important aspects of their games is the fact that they improve the team around them. Now, moving on to the second player, that's Insigne, and this report is coming out from Football Italia, and they're saying that we're considering looking at Insigne as a potential Eden Hazard replacement. Now, of course, when it comes to this report, there is no more context to it, that's all it is. But of course, you can hypothesize and really try and understand how this deal could make sense. Now, for me, one thing we must consider if Eden Hazard is sold is the fact that what message are we sending out there to the football world? What message are we sending out to our fans, our players, and potential players to replace them? You know, if Hazard leaves and you don't bring in a very good replacement, how are the current players going to feel? Are they going to feel less confident playing for us? Are they going to question the ambition of the club? And what about potential players? What if they're thinking, well, why do I want to sign for you guys? You've sold your best player, you haven't replaced them. How can I really believe your word that you're the right club to sign for? And I think if you sign someone like Insigne, it's a statement. You're telling the football world you guys have money to spend. You're here to challenge. You want to be part of the big boys. You're here to win things. It's a massive statement of intent. If you're selling Hazard and you want to bring in a top quality replacement for him, there's no one better in my opinion than Insigne. Not only has he worked with Sarri before, with Sarri being the guy to get the very best out of him, he understands the system as well, and he has his best position available to him. Not only that, he's worked alongside Higuain before, setting up tons and tons of assists for him. And of course, him and Jorginho have a very good relationship when it comes to decision making off the ball. Now yes, Insigne would cost a ton of money, potentially even 100 million. But again, you must remember, it's a massive sign of intent. If you're going to sell Hazard, you have to sign a big player in any position to make sure that we don't look weak up against our rivals. But you guys, that's going to bring an end to today's video. In the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions. Who would you like to see come replace Eden Hazard if he does potentially leave? You know what, I'm most likely to do some reaction videos in regards to potential candidates to replace Hazard. I'll do some reaction videos, obviously looking at Eden Hazard himself and really reacting to his season so far. Obviously, you guys, I don't want to see Hazard go. Hopefully he stays. I don't feel like you can afford to lose one of the very best players in the world because it makes you weaker. And honestly, I don't believe that we would be able to replace the player. So let's pray that Real Madrid turn their attentions away from Hazard and forget about him. But you guys, thank you for watching today's video. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV, signing out.